Imagine an island that has been at the crossroads of civilizations for over 5,000 years. Every stone, every artifact, every coastal ruin whispers stories of merchants, warriors, and settlers who shaped the destiny of Cyprus. Welcome to Cyprus, a land where history is alive under the Mediterranean sun. If you love discovering ancient secrets and hidden tales, make sure to subscribe to Cyprus Real View and hit the bell so you never miss an episode. Now let's step back thousands of years. Long before Cyprus became known for Aphrodite, bustling ports, or imperial struggles, the island was already a magnet for early humans. Archaeological evidence suggests that humans first visited Cyprus as early as the Paleolithic era, but permanent settlements emerged around 9000 BCE during the Neolithic period. One of the most remarkable early settlements is Khirokitia, located on the southern slopes of the Troodos Mountains. This UNESCO World Heritage Site showcases round, two-story stone houses, some with carefully constructed hearths and stone furniture, indicating surprisingly advanced social organization for that period. These early inhabitants were primarily farmers and herders, cultivating wheat and barley, domesticating animals, and creating tools from flint and obsidian. Their lives were deeply connected to the rhythm of the land and the sea. By 4500, 4000 BCE, new villages appeared in the lowlands and coastal areas. Communities at Sotira and in the Kyrenia region began producing intricately decorated pottery, figurines, and stone ornaments, some made from imported materials like picrolite. This suggests that Cyprus, even at this early stage, was not isolated but engaged in exchange networks with neighboring regions in Anatolia, the Levant, and the Aegean. These cultural interactions laid the foundation for Cyprus's long history as a hub of trade and connectivity. The true transformation came in the 3rd millennium BCE, with the discovery and exploitation of copper. Cyprus's rich copper deposits turned the island into one of the earliest centers of metallurgy in the Mediterranean. The very name Cyprus may even derive from the Latin cuprum, meaning copper. Copper allowed Cyprus to become a trade powerhouse, attracting merchants from Egypt, the Levant, and the Aegean. Coastal towns flourished as centers for copper production, trade, and skilled craftsmanship. During the Late Bronze Age, circa 1600 to 1050 BCE, Cyprus's importance in Mediterranean trade networks became even more pronounced. Archaeologists have found evidence of imported luxury goods, such as Mycenaean pottery, Egyptian scarabs, and Syrian jewelry. These findings indicate that Cyprus was both a cultural melting pot and a strategic trading hub. Cypriot city-states began to emerge along the coasts, such as Enkomi, which became a prominent trading and administrative center. Its carefully planned streets, temples, and workshops illustrate an island sophisticated both economically and culturally, religiously and culturally. The Late Bronze Age also saw the emergence of distinct Cypriot identity markers. Early deities, rituals, and artistic motifs hint at Proto-Cypriot beliefs that would later blend with Greek, Phoenician, and Egyptian influences. Cyprus was a land where local traditions met foreign innovations, an early stage of the cultural fusion that would define the island for millennia. The end of the Bronze Age brought disruptions across the Mediterranean, including the so-called Sea Peoples invasions, economic collapses, and shifts in trade routes. Cyprus was affected but remained resilient, adapting its urban centers and maintaining its role as a crossroads of civilizations. The stage was set for the Iron Age, when new city kingdoms would rise, and Cyprus's story would intertwine with the wider Hellenic world. As the Bronze Age faded, a new era dawned on Cyprus. Imagine an island reshaped by iron tools, fortified cities, and emerging kings who wielded both political power and religious authority. The foundations of the modern Cypriot identity were being laid. If you haven't yet, subscribe to Cyprus Real View. Every stone and story of Cyprus is a chapter in human civilization you won't want to miss. With the collapse of the late Bronze Age civilizations around 1200 BCE, Cyprus entered the Iron Age, a period marked by both challenge and opportunity. The disruption of trade networks and migrations across the Mediterranean reshaped the island's social and political structures. Coastal centers and inland settlements saw new defensive constructions, fortifications made to withstand both internal conflicts and external threats. By 1050 BCE, Cyprus was divided into a series of city kingdoms, each ruled by its own king. These included notable centers like Salamis on the east coast, Kition in the south, Paphos in the west, Soloi near the northern coast, and Tamassos inland. Each city kingdom minted its own coins, developed administrative structures, and cultivated unique religious practices. The kings often served as intermediaries between their citizens and the gods, reflecting a society where religion, politics, and trade were deeply intertwined. During this period, Greek influence began to grow substantially. Greek settlers, traders, and cultural practices arrived through continuous maritime connections. The Greek language, art styles, and mythological frameworks began to blend with local Cypriot traditions. It was around this time that the island became associated with Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty, whose legendary birthplace at Palepafos, modern Kuklia, cemented Cyprus's symbolic connection to Greek culture. Temples and shrines dedicated to Aphrodite dotted the landscape, reflecting the religious and cultural fusion underway. The island's strategic location in the eastern Mediterranean also attracted the attention of mighty empires. By the 6th century BCE, Cyprus fell under the influence of the Achaemenid Persian Empire. Persian kings allowed a degree of local autonomy, leaving the city kingdom's rulers in place while demanding tribute and military support. This period demonstrates Cyprus's adaptability, maintaining local identity while navigating the pressures of imperial control. Persian rule introduced administrative innovations, new forms of taxation, and exposure to the broader Persian trade networks, connecting Cyprus more firmly to the ancient Near East. Cyprus remained a vital commercial hub throughout this era. Archaeologists have uncovered Phoenician inscriptions, imported luxury goods, and evidence of expanded maritime trade. The Phoenicians, who settled primarily in Kition, brought their own religious practices, including worship of Astarte, and contributed to the island's growing multicultural tapestry. Cyprus became a true melting pot, a place where Greek, Phoenician, and local Cypriot traditions merged, producing a culture that was both unique and cosmopolitan. By the late 4th century BCE, the island's fate would again be reshaped by the ambitions of a single man, Alexander the Great. In 333 BCE, after Alexander's campaigns in the eastern Mediterranean, Cyprus's city kingdoms aligned with the Macedonian conqueror, either by choice or necessity. This marked the beginning of the Hellenistic period in Cyprus, a time when Greek culture dominated political, economic, and artistic life. Cities were restructured, new architectural styles flourished, and Greek language and education became central to urban life. Yet even under Hellenistic influence, Cyprus retained a distinct identity. Local kings continued to rule, coins bore bilingual inscriptions, and religious practices reflected a synthesis of Greek and indigenous traditions. Cyprus became a bridge, a place where the Mediterranean's greatest empires met, clashed, and fused, leaving an imprint that would resonate for centuries. This era set the stage for Cyprus's next chapter, the Roman conquest, urban expansion, and the transformation of the island into a cosmopolitan jewel of the ancient Mediterranean. But before we get there, it's crucial to understand how centuries of city kingdoms, cultural blending, and imperial influences created a resilient and adaptable Cypriot society, one that would thrive despite foreign domination. Cyprus had long been a crossroads of civilizations, but the Roman era transformed the island in ways that left a permanent mark. Imagine streets lined with marble, theaters echoing with performances, and temples bustling with worshippers. This was a Cyprus reborn under empire. If you're following the journey, don't forget to subscribe to Cyprus Real View, because every mosaic, every ruin, tells a story you won't want to miss. Cyprus officially became part of the Roman Empire in 58 BCE, after a period of local kingdoms navigating alliances and conflicts with Rome. The island's strategic position made it an essential link between Asia Minor, the Levant, and Egypt. Under Roman rule, Cyprus experienced a period of relative peace, stability, and remarkable urban development. Cities such as Salamis, Kourion, and Paphos expanded, adopting the grandeur and infrastructure typical of Roman urban planning. Roads, aqueducts, public baths, and amphitheatres transformed the landscape, reflecting both the practical needs and cultural ambitions of the empire. Paphos, in particular, became a centre of wealth and administration. The city's villas were adorned with intricate mosaics depicting Greek myths, hunting scenes, and marine life, many of which remain astonishingly well preserved today in the Paphos Archaeological Park, now a UNESCO World Heritage Site. These mosaics not only illustrate the aesthetic tastes of the elite, but also the blend of Greek, Roman, and local Cypriot traditions that defined the island's culture. Religion also evolved during the Roman period. While traditional pagan temples continued to be centers of worship, Cyprus gradually became a focal point for early Christianity. Historical accounts suggest that the Apostle Paul, accompanied by Barnabas, visited Salamis and Paphos in the 1st century CE, spreading the teachings of Christianity. This period saw the construction of some of the island's earliest churches and the development of a Christian community that would endure through centuries of changing empires. As the Roman Empire itself transformed, Cyprus was absorbed into the Byzantine Empire after the division of Rome in the 4th century CE. Byzantine rule brought administrative restructuring, reinforced fortifications, and an increasing emphasis on Christianity as the dominant religion. Magnificent churches, monasteries, and baptisteries were built, adorned with frescoes, mosaics, and icons. The island's artistic output during this period reflects a synthesis of classical Greco-Roman styles with emerging Byzantine aesthetics. The Byzantine period also confronted external threats. Cyprus, positioned at the edge of the empire, faced repeated raids by pirates, Persians, and later Arab forces. Despite these challenges, the island maintained its urban centers, rural settlements, and trade networks. Salamis, once a thriving Roman city, gradually declined after repeated attacks, while other cities like Constantia, later Famagusta, rose in prominence. Cyprus under Byzantium also retained a strong sense of local identity. Greek language, Orthodox Christian traditions, and regional governance allowed the island to navigate the complexities of empire while preserving cultural continuity. This resilience became a hallmark of Cypriot society, an ability to absorb external influences while maintaining a distinct identity. By the late 12th century, the Byzantine hold on Cyprus weakened due to internal turmoil and external pressures from Crusader armies. The island was thrust into the wider political currents of the Mediterranean, setting the stage for the next chapter, the era of Crusaders, Lusignan kings, and Venetian rule. Yet even as empires rose and fell, the Roman and Byzantine legacies remained etched into Cyprus, from sprawling mosaics and ancient theatres to churches and fortifications. These centuries of urban flourishing, religious transformation, and artistic achievement laid the foundation for Cyprus's enduring cultural richness, a heritage that visitors can still experience today. From the grandeur of Byzantine churches to the battlements of Crusader castles, Cyprus's story is a tapestry of conquest, resilience, and cultural fusion. The island's journey through medieval and modern history shows how geography can make a place both coveted and contested. If you've enjoyed this historical journey so far, make sure to subscribe to Cyprus Real View. We're about to uncover the most dramatic chapters of Cyprus's history, which continue to shape the island today. In 1192 CE, after the Third Crusade, Richard the Lionheart of England captured Cyprus briefly before selling it to the French Lusignan dynasty. The Lusignans established a feudal kingdom that lasted nearly 3 centuries. Under their rule, Latin Christianity became dominant among the elite, and Gothic architecture flourished. Fortifications, castles, and cathedrals were built across the island, including the impressive Khirokitia Castle and Byzantine Abbey. Although Latin rulers controlled politics and religion, the majority Greek Orthodox population retained their language, traditions, and clandestine religious practices, demonstrating Cyprus's characteristic resilience under foreign rule. By the late 15th century, Cyprus's position as a strategic island drew the attention of the Republic of Venice. The Venetians purchased the island in 1489, primarily to secure trade routes and protect against Ottoman expansion. Venetian rule emphasized military fortifications. The walls of Famagusta and Nicosia were strengthened to withstand sieges. The Venetians maintained the island as a commercial and naval hub, introducing Renaissance influences in architecture and urban planning. While Cyprus remained a cultural crossroads, Venetian governance was stricter and more centralized than the Lusignan feudal system. In 1571, Cyprus fell to the Ottoman Empire, marking the start of nearly 3 centuries of Ottoman rule. The Ottomans introduced Islamic institutions, built mosques, and integrated Cyprus into their imperial administrative and taxation systems. Despite these changes, the Greek Orthodox Church was granted autonomy under the millet system, allowing religious leaders to manage community affairs. The coexistence of Greek, Turkish, and Armenian communities during Ottoman rule created the complex social fabric that continues to influence Cyprus today. By the late 19th century, strategic considerations in the Eastern Mediterranean led to a shift in power. In 1878, Cyprus came under British administration, though it remained formally Ottoman territory until World War I. The British modernized infrastructure, introduced new legal and educational systems, and improved trade networks. English became an official language alongside Greek and Turkish, and new ports, railways, and administrative centers facilitated commerce. Cyprus became an attractive location for settlers, merchants, and administrators seeking the security and stability of British governance. The 20th century brought challenges and transformations. Cyprus's Greek majority increasingly sought enosis, union with Greece, while the Turkish minority resisted, fearing marginalization. Tensions culminated in independence from Britain in 1960, creating the Republic of Cyprus. The constitution attempted to balance power between Greek and Turkish Cypriots, but political disagreements and intercommunal violence soon undermined stability. In 1974, a coup by Greek nationalist forces aiming for union with Greece prompted a Turkish military intervention, resulting in the occupation of approximately 1/3 of the island's northern territory. Thousands were killed or disappeared, and hundreds of thousands were displaced, leaving a lasting legacy of division. The northern part of the island later declared itself the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, recognized only by Turkey, while the internationally recognized Republic of Cyprus governs the south. Today, Cyprus remains a land of contrasts and continuity. Ancient ruins coexist with medieval fortresses and Ottoman mosques. Modern cities thrive alongside rural villages. Greek and Turkish cultures intermingle while political realities reflect unresolved historical tensions. The island's rich tapestry of civilizations, from Neolithic settlers, Bronze Age traders, Greek city kingdoms, Roman administrators, Byzantine clergy, Crusader kings, Venetian merchants, Ottoman governors, to British administrators, has created a unique cultural and historical legacy. Despite its complex history, Cyprus continues to attract scholars, tourists, and explorers fascinated by its layers of civilization. Walking along the mosaics of Paphos, the Gothic arches of Byzantine, or the bustling streets of Nicosia, one senses the continuity of human endeavor, the resilience, creativity, and adaptability of its people. As we conclude this epic journey through more than 3,000 years of Cypriot history, remember that history is not just about dates and empires, it's about people, stories, and the enduring human spirit. Subscribe to Cyprus Real View for more in-depth explorations of Cyprus's hidden gems, archaeological wonders, and the living culture that continues to shape the Mediterranean today. Share this video with fellow history enthusiasts, and let us continue uncovering the secrets of this extraordinary island together.